I'm back here today. A very disappointing game is all being confirmed. Republic States did lose against Portugal by a 1-0 in the final group stage game of the Euros, of course. But the good news is we do qualify. We do play Russia next week in the knockout stages. Any thoughts on that, Brian Cliff? Disappointing, I think. You know, I'm not going to be angry because I think I'd be very happy that this club or this national team, this country, have actually qualified for the, into the Euros, despite us losing today in our final group stage game. But we've got to take consideration that we have to be as strong in our game against Russia next week. I know Russia are not that as great, their national team. They're not as got any good history as a team. We should probably beat them. But we have to be very, very careful in that game. I know that it's in a week's time. We have to try and see how we do in training throughout that time as well. But, you know, we should win this game, to be honest with you. We are the hosts. We are a big nation. We have got some very good, attractive players in our team who should be helping us to compete and try and, you know, be at the top of the group. But it didn't happen. But we got an easier team compared to England, out of Russia, of course. So that's probably the good news as well. But we have to see how we go in our next matchup. And that's what we have to have a little test about in our next game next week. And speaking about Russia, of course, even though Donald Trump obviously put in the war against Russia, and also be playing Russia in a soccer game next week at our host, as we are the host country in this competition. Any controversial about that as well? You know, Russia, you know, with Donald Trump, it's nothing to do with soccer. I don't think war with Russia is to do with us playing a bag of soccer around or kick a ball around. It doesn't really concern that way. You know, there are big precautions on fans, how they're going to deal with, with the Republican fans about politics and this, this democracy about it all. But I think that they should worry about enjoying the game next week and play it, despite what happens with Donald Trump and about having war with Russia next year and etc. But that's another thing I like to address. But there you go. Yeah, that's a very good word to say there, Brian Cliff, of course. Think about the game then more than the war. Yes, indeed. Right, let's go now to interview the head coach of the national team, Neil Clarkson. Clarkson, you lost today against Portugal by 1-0, a defeat in the final group stage matchup against Portugal. Any thoughts on that? It's disappointing to lose today. I know we are the host nation. We should be finishing top of the group, no matter what what club or national team we're up against. And Portugal are a very good team, and I have to be aware of that. But there's no need for us to lose against them. It's just hard in a way. But we have to just stick with it because we are through. That's the main thing. We're in the next round of the Euros against Russia next week. I know that Russia's obviously having a little bit of rival with us with the politics and the democracy, with the war going on next year as well, and that's a problem as well. But we've got to put that to one side about Russia. I know that's going to be a bit controversial, the game. I think that next game when we play Russia next week, we have to try and play for us and play to have fun, not to fight. And I think that's the main speech I like to bring out, as well as I am the head coach of this national team. And I know that today we should have won. We should have played England if we won today, but we did our best. I thought Portugal had their moments in the game. They really pressed us a lot in the counter-attacking as well in the game. I think that they addressed us on the ball a lot well compared to what we've done today. I think we try to do our best to try and get a result, as we are the host, and we should be, giving it our all no matter what it happens in this tournament. But a draw was a draw against Ireland, a win was a win against Scotland, and also a loss was a loss against Portugal today. So we've got Russia next week to worry about. We've got training to prepare for that game for next weekend, and we'll see if we can beat them like we did against Scotland on Tuesday, and like we did with a draw with Ireland, and try and do something about it and try and do the best. I think that it was unacceptable that we didn't get the win, because we should be, as we are host nation of this competition, but it is what it is. Thank you very much then, Neil Clarkson. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyways, that was that from Neil Clarkson, the head coach. Any final words you want to say, Brian Cliff? Um, well, very very good result, I think, for the Portugal's national team. I think for us, we have to address things in training, how we're going to do well against Russia next week. I know that Russia hasn't got the most history in soccer compared to us because we've won a lot of European trophies, and we've won the World Cup before, and Russia haven't. So it's going to be a test next week. I know that Russia's going to be a controversial game because we've had issues in democracy about two countries fighting each other in the war. Our country, of course, having a bit of problems with Russia and how Trump's going to address that. But it's UEFA rules, and if we have to play them, no matter what the circumstances is with the war next year. But we'll see how it goes next week. Okay, it generally does. But anyway, that's going to be it from us here today in this Euro game between Republic States and Portugal. Congratulations to Portugal. What a game for them. The score at the end of the game was 1-0 Portugal. Anyways, until now, we'll be back for next week when Republic States will come and play Russia in our next game. And we'll see how interesting that game will really be. As in fact, the war against them next year is going to be a problem. But anyways, until then, goodbye.